This episode is brought to you by Del Hocico. Do you wish you could tell that annoying coworker to fuck off? Or tell that certain family member to shut the fuck up without facing consequences? Well, Del Hocico is just right for you. This extract from the I Don't Give a Fuck Up Us plant is completely organic and extremely rare. But don't worry, it's environmentally safe. One spray of this and you'll be enjoying sweet nothings coming out of people's mouths that annoy you the most. Like, hey, mijo, I don't think you should smoke. Shut the fuck up and spray. Hey, bro, I don't think you shut the fuck up and spray. Act now and get this 1 ounce bottle. Only for $59.99. Just go to telosico.com. Enter the code Puras Pendejadas to save absolutely nothing at all. That's right, Puras Pendejadas. And watch the magic work. Thank me later.
Yeah, what is going on, people? Welcome to another episode of Puras Pendejadas. My name is Rob D. And how's it been going, man? How was your Easter? Ours was okay. Ours was really out of our norm. I guess after COVID, there's been a few adjustments, but man, big shout out to my big bro, man. He throws him and his family, of course. They host one of the best Easter parties, man. And I was trying to think how far, like when it started. I know we've had plenty of conversations. But I'm trying to remember off the top of my head how long these parties have been going on, and I want to say it's like definitely more than 10 years. But I don't want to fuck it all up. But man, you want to talk about man, those are the Easter parties and the Christmas parties are something that our family definitely looks forward to. But ever since COVID, man, COVID just fucked all that up, man. And this year yet again, it was canceled, but I agree with it. It's a lot. It's a lot to consider and all that stuff. And hopefully next year we can go back to normal. But as of right now, I think it's been 2 years of canceled Easter parties. I think, yeah, more or less. And I'm not gonna lie, man, we miss them. But we got to be careful first. And so yeah, this year's just been really chilled out, man. I know the kids had a little Easter hunt at school. Apparently they never did that before, so I guess that we took advantage of that and be like, nah, you guys already did it, man. Fuck it, why do it again? And but yeah, man, we just Easter was pretty chilled out, at our household at least. Like I said, we really look forward to it every year. But you know what? It is what it is, and I agree with it. We got to be careful first. We really got to, celebrate. And was it even Easter weekend? I think it was. We got to celebrate Haley's birthday. We took her out. We did all this and that. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw. I posted some pictures of us taking her out and stuff like that. And, we just try to make her feel special, getting back into the groove of things. These past couple of years have been kind of weird. And, we haven't been doing, birthday parties ourselves for the kids, really. And it's just an adjustment, really. I think if everything, if COVID didn't exist, I think by now she would have had that experience of having her friends over, to her birthday parties instead of just family. But we'll little by little we'll get into the groove of things. My son's birthday is coming up this Thursday, and again, we're skipping birthday parties this year. Hopefully we can get back into it next year. But yeah, man, just seeing them grow is crazy, man. They just took some pictures at school, and man, it's amazing, man. I try to make sure I don't take them for granted. Any little piece I can get, I try to make sure I soak in it. because I think that's really important. One thing, one main reason, there's a specific reason why I make it a point to not take them for granted, take them for granted and them growing up and the experiences and all that. And it's because before my son was born, my daughter, she, we had an apartment, and she was there from like since she was born till like about, I want to say, I want to say maybe one, no bigger than two. And that whole time there is so special, seeing him grow, seeing him, I think she was probably like two, seeing him grow and everything like that. And honestly, man, like, I do not remember any of it. And the reason behind that is because I was so stressed out through what, I was going through. You know what I mean? Work and, being a young parent. When my daughter was born, I was 23. And it was just a lot to take in. And I was trying my best to, like, provide and team up with my wife and stuff. But, I mean, who's kidding who? We were young as fuck, man. But I welcome the challenge. You know what I mean? I did not know what the fuck I was gonna get into, but or what was ahead of me. What I was going to experience. But man, it was a very critical time, and I'm still hard on myself, right? So just picture a younger me that doesn't know how to gauge this shit, and one of the things that I really, really regret is not living in the moment, not taking it in, not soaking it in, all these experiences. But the one thing that did help was after that, right? After we moved out, I'd have to say maybe she was like around 3. We were living somewhere else, and I would, throughout that time that we were at that apartment, I would constantly take pictures and videos of her, like a lot. And so the way it would work, when my wife would go to work, I would take care of her, and vice versa. So basically I would just take pictures and videos, and I really didn't notice how much I would just do it, and finally when we moved out of that place or whatever, she was older. One day we were just like, hey, let's just go through these, pictures and videos. Like, all right, cool. And as we were going through it, I felt ashamed, like on the inside, I was so ashamed because I didn't remember none of it. And most of it was just me and her, when it was my turn to take care of her and stuff. Most of it, of course, we'd have some where it was me and my wife and my daughter. But, I would see the videos and the pictures, and I'm like, I don't remember that shit. And I don't remember it. And goddamn, when did this happen? And what? How old was she? And what? Who took this video? What was you? Like, and it was a very, very tough pill to swallow because, whenever you're going through something, that's your excuse for not like paying attention to shit. At least, for me, I can only speak for myself. But so that was my excuse, I guess. Like, oh, it's because I don't have time, and I don't have time, and I don't have time. And if I was still the me of back then, 12 years ago, I would still be using that fucking excuse. I don't have time, because you never do. You as much as you try to carve out time, you never find that perfect amount of time or that perfect moment to say release the time. It doesn't work like that, man. You just gotta, it is what it is. And I felt ashamed, but I also felt really lucky that I took all that footage and that I took all those pictures, because I felt like, okay, I don't remember it, but at least it exists, right? But I remember making a promise to myself. But from now on, take it all in, bro. You have to take it all in. Take in these experiences. Take in, your kids being this certain age because they're never going to be this age again. And you run into people like that, where they have older kids and they tell you, "Oh man, just enjoy them while this and that." I'm not talking shit either because my big brother tells me that shit all the time to this day. Like, oh man, he looks at Idris and like, oh man, just enjoy him, man, because next thing you know, they grow up and look at my boys now, and my nephews are about to graduate this year, and that's a tough pill to swallow too. But my point is that if you're going through something, just try your best to like figure it out, but also don't ignore life, because it's gonna go whether you're ready for it or not, whether you're ready to soak it in or not, and I know for me that's one of my big regrets, one of my many regrets in life is not being in the moment. But again, I had to go through that to make sure every moment now I make sure and make it a point, like, okay, just stop time, stop my thoughts and everything, and just soak them in. I'm not perfect, of course, but I try. You know what I mean? I try, and I think that's big. That's a big thing as far as parenting goes, of course. But yeah, man. So Haley's birthday's just passed, and Idris is coming up, and we just we're trying to hopefully this is the we're at the tail end of this COVID shit. I really don't want to talk about COVID, so I'm just gonna just breeze by it. But hopefully this is the tail end of it, and hopefully by next year everything will be a little bit more normal, I guess. You never know nowadays, but hopefully next year they get their birthday parties. Just don't say anything, cause you never know, right? But yeah, man. So made her feel special, and took her out and stuff like that, and just basically like, what do you want to do? Okay, whatever you say, let's do this. And we're planning on treating Idris the same way. He's already has some things in mind and stuff like that. So we'll see how that shit goes. Oh yeah, I went through an interesting experience this past, when was it, yesterday? Oh, anyways, today's Monday if you're listening to this when it drops. Past couple of days ago, I went through this experience where I'm working with this local artist. We're looking to see what we can create and shit like that. He's really cool, man. His name's Rico. And me and Accurate hit him up, and he was gracious enough to let us in his space. And one of the things that I was really tripping out on was that he has his own setup and stuff like that, and I'm so used to being in my space that I didn't realize how much it was gonna affect my process, my recording process. And it was a doozy, man. Like, I was like, what the fuck, like it was weird to like have someone, not even have someone else record me, but like I don't have to worry about that. You know what I mean? It was very weird for me. And then with he has a booth and stuff, so it's just different. It's completely different. I'm not complaining about anything. I'm just saying it was different for me. And to like someone else is manning the station, which is good for me. I mean, it's like, hey man, if someone else can do it, fuck yeah, man. I don't want to be doing this shit all the time. But it went from that to like he has a booth, so I was in there, standing and recording while I was standing, with my knee and shit, kind of bugging me and shit. And it was just really interesting, and like my brain was like, what are we doing? It was weird. It was weird, but it was good. Like it kept me on my toes. And I was like, whoa, man, like I didn't know it was going to affect me this much. Because going into it, I was just like, whatever. Oh, okay, this is what you do. Oh, okay, this, okay. And then, when it was time to lay my vocals down and stuff, I was like, what the fuck, man? Like I was like, the hell? Like I was trying to like figure this shit out, mentally, more mentally than anything. Cause this setup is badass, man. I give him props. And It's very inspirational. The way he has everything set up. And I was telling him, I was like, I'm good jealous. I'm good jealous. This is gonna push me, to make sure I don't slack on my part, in my space. And but yeah, it was just crazy how just a different environment and stuff. Which the environment was cool. It was really comfortable and stuff. We had conversations and stuff, and he's a cool dude, and hopefully you guys get to hear what we end up creating. But yeah, man, it's just crazy how the body and the mind gets used to like a certain spot, and because everybody that I've worked with so far, I've always worked at my spot, and so it's just like, okay, I know what to do. I know what to do, this and this and this. But it was interesting to do it somewhere else and to see how my body was responding to that. So it was pretty cool. It was uncomfortable, but it was uncomfortable to where it's just an adjustment. You know what I mean? It's like an away game. It's an away game. I played an away game, and I think I had yet to do it. And I remember Accurate was asking me like, haven't you recorded in the booth before? I'm like, dude, I haven't recorded in a booth in years. And even then, back then, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So it was just like taking me back, all these things that they were saying to me and stuff. I was like, have I? No, I don't think. No, yeah, I had. But goddamn, that was a long ass time ago. And it's just, taking everything in. So, we're going back in a couple days, and hopefully we can knock this shit out. But it was just interesting, very, very interesting. And I like that. I like being uncomfortable. It lets me know I haven't figured it all out, even though sometimes your arrogance might take over and shit, the fucking ego. And, just stay on your toes, man. Just stay on your toes. Make sure you got your shit together and shit, And so it was good. It was a good uncomfortable. And so hopefully, uncomfortableness doesn't always have to be a bad thing, It's just letting you, be alert. Like, hey, man, no. Don't slack it. Don't get comfortable. None of that bullshit over here. You know what I mean? Speaking about my spot, I don't know if you guys saw. I posted a video on my story. I really want to make sure. Speaking of your what did I say earlier? Your space and making it comfortable and shit like that. I'm looking into insulating my garage door. And that's been interesting too, man, because I've been doing some research, aka watching a shitload of YouTube videos, and I've decided on one method, and so far I'm 1/4 done on the garage, and it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. I'm really happy I chose what I chose. I was gonna go another route, but it wasn't gonna be very pleasing to the eye. And to me, I was like, whatever, as long as it gets the job done. But right away, I thought about my wife, and I was like, yeah, she's not gonna like this shit. She is not gonna like this shit. And it's basically, they sell this big roll of, like the covers to your windshield, like, to the shades or whatever. How they're like that aluminum looking, bubble wrap looking type of shit. Well, picture that, but picture like a big roll of it. So basically you just cut and then you just put it on the door. So the finished product is, what you would imagine, what the inside of your fucking vehicle looks like when you put up the shades. And I was like, yeah, my wife's not gonna go for this shit. So I went the other way, and it's basically insulation. It's basically styrofoam. It's styrofoam with some reflective, like a sticker on one side, and basically you put that on the side of the garage, and it's supposed to reflect the heat and shit. It's been getting warmer, but I don't think it's been really tested. And I've been checking it, with the thermometer gun, and it varies on days, but I don't want to give out a for sure answer yet, because I really want to test like on a warm day. But it's looking good, man. It's looking good. It's the only thing is I fucking hate styrofoam. I hate confetti and styrofoam. Those are one of the things that I fucking hate, man, cuz it's like they never fully go away. And but I've been trying my best, and I went to go buy some more today. Probably knock it out tomorrow, and I think I got a little method going on now, so I should be done with it whenever. Let's not put any pressure on Robert, because then he will disappoint. But yeah, I like it. I like the way it's coming out. Um, I think I'm gonna look into tinting the window too in the garage, because it gets a lot of direct sunlight, and I already have the AC in here, so we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I just want to make it really comfortable, because man, these summer days are a doozy in here, man. It's like a fucking furnace, and I would want to change that, tweak that a little bit if I could. Um, we have shot music videos in here, and Accurate could attest, man. This bitch gets hot as fuck in here. So I'm just trying to better a little bit, little by little, you know. But speaking of heat, um, it does not get. I'm waiting for how it gets hot here. I doubt anybody out of town is listening, but just in case, we're in El Paso, and El Paso, Texas, and the summers do get really hot, but it is nothing compared to Phoenix hot. Phoenix hot is like the next level up from here. Those motherfuckers get like 120, 110, days. And you're talking about like fuck, even in the shade, it's fucking hot. And that's really what I wanted to segue into was how do I know about Phoenix weather, guys? Interesting. Scratch his chin. Well, me and I used to live in Phoenix, for only like for a few months, really, to be honest with you. But it was quite an experience, man. And hopefully, you guys have listened to the previous episode, so you guys got to know me a little bit. And I kind of want to segue, what happened afterwards. So basically, if you want to step into this time machine with me here. It was after I graduated high school. Well, actually, okay, let's rewind a little. So when I was still in high school as a senior, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea what to do, actually, and I had no guidance. All I knew was that, okay, I'm bettering myself, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, whatever. What's next? But I didn't really think about it that much. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't I wasn't thinking about it that much, and it's a very frustrating thing looking back now, because it's like God, now I want my kids now, like Haley's in 6th grade, and I'm like, think about what you want to be when you grow up, and even Idris, he's in 1st grade, and I'm like, think about what you want to be, and because me as a senior in high school, I really didn't know, so I didn't really think about it either, because when you're in it, it's just like, oh man, the big day, but you never think about afterwards. What's life gonna be like afterwards? So one day, senior year, I'm in class. I forgot what fucking class, but there's this man there, right? And he's a recruiter for a college, and I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So then this guy is making his rounds throughout the whole school, right? And he talked a sweet ass game, man. He had me convinced, like, okay, I could really do something with my life here. And a lot of my friends got the same presentation from him too. And everybody, well, not everybody, I don't want to say everybody, but some friends were like, hey man, like this sounds like a good idea and this and that. And basically the college that he was recruiting for was basically like your what are they called, the tech schools, like here, like Western Tech here, Vista College, RIP. What else? Fucking Western Tech. Those I don't know what they're called, man. But those those schools that you go to for, a year and a half, 2 years, just to get, become an electrician or HVAC or a medical assistant or a dental assistant, stuff like that. Basically that, but in Phoenix. Now at the time, of course, I was like, whoa, okay, cool, that sounds cool, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what to choose. And he said, basically to sum it up, it was a school, and that school was split up into two, which was the medical side and the IT side, basically, computers and shit like that. And I was like, I don't know either, and I don't know what the fuck. And but IT sounded more interesting to me than medical, and so I ended up signing up for it and stuff like that. We ended up going. I didn't know what I was in for, man. Um, I did not know anything. I didn't even know how to type. But I signed up for computer networking, right? I didn't know anything. And I told the recruiter that I was like, look, I want to make something of myself. I told him my situation. I was like, I got kicked out, and, I just want to keep on going. And he's like, oh, yeah, definitely. And this and that, blah, blah. So I went back and forth with the guy, and, I told him, I was like, I don't know anything though. He's like, oh man, don't worry about it. They'll teach you everything over there. I was like, really? Everything? And like, yeah. I was like, but I don't, I have a job here, but how am I going to find a job over there? Or am I going to need a job? Or are there dorms? Like, how does it work? Oh, no, we'll get you housing. We'll find housing for you. And I'm like, all right, cool. And what about a job? No, yeah, we'll get you jobs too. There's a program where, they find a job for you and everything. So I was like, shit. All right, cool, man. Well, fuck it. And so then, my part over here, I had to get my shit straight, basically. As far as, I had a car, but I didn't have insurance, and the fucking sticker was definitely not up to date. I was riding dirty like a motherfucker, and or expired. Not dirty. Dirty is something else. But anyways, and I ended up getting a ticket for that. So do not do that. Trust me, you will get caught eventually. And so I got my shit straight or whatever. Like I said, if you listen to the last episode, you know that I was living with my best friend or whatever, one of my best friends. And at that time, I was just trying to get my shit straight. The guy was saying, like, I just need your parents to sign some of these papers. And I'm like, look, dude, I got kicked out. I'm not in a good relationship with my parents, yada, yada, yada. And he was like, all right, cool, I get it, but they still need to sign these papers. So I was like, fuck. So me tuve que amarrar un pinche huevo and be like, fuck it. Let me go over there and, and yeah, I really don't know, and I don't want to lie and say it was the first time I contacted them since I got kicked out, but I want to say it was. And I hit them up. I think it was just my mom. And I just told her, like, look, I'm signing up. I want to go to school. It's in Phoenix. I think it's a good opportunity for me. I just need you to sign these papers. Right away, she's like, well, what do we have to pay? I'm like, you don't have to pay anything. They're going to charge me after I get out. So we don't have to pay anything? I was like, no. And then she's like, all right. So that was kind of easy-ish. And basically graduated, and by the time I graduated, I knew I was gonna go to Phoenix, right? That coming fall. So in preparation for that, me and my best friend that I was living with, we had gotten into it, and basically we weren't on really good terms. Both, I have to take blame in that. I was immature. Like I said, communication wasn't the best. We were kind of growing. How do I say it? We grew out of each other's relationship. You know what I mean? Like, we weren't as tight as we were before. We had different interests. You know what I mean? So whatever. But some drama did occur, whatever. And next thing you know, I ended up living with my parents again. But I told them, I'm only gonna be here for a bit. While, I wait for the time to go to Phoenix or whatever. In the meantime, though, can you help me out? And I need to get my license, and I don't know how to do that. I didn't even have a fucking license. I've been driving since I was like in middle school, but I didn't have my license. So I was like, I don't know what to do, and then I need to get my sticker, updated. I really need to register my car. My car wasn't even registered and shit. So they helped me, get all my shit together. Now, just a big but right here, right? Big asterisk right here. Yes, they did help me out, but my dad let me know, basically that he was obligated to do it. You know what I mean? Because I remember one morning, I think we were gonna go register the car, and we had to get up really early, and we're heading out there and stuff like that. And I remember this is one of the things that I have engraved in my brain. So we're going over there, we're driving over there, and me and my dad are talking. We're not on the best of terms and shit, right? But he needed to go with me. So we're in the same car or whatever, and he's driving me over there, and he's like, I remember in the conversation, basically he was like, pues te estoy ayudando porque tengo que, eres mi hijo, so te tengo que ayudar. And I turned around and I looked at him, I was like, God damn, man, that seems kind of harsh. But maybe I'm not taking it, maybe I'm taking it the wrong way. You know what I mean? Then, a few years passed, and I told my wife that story, and she was like, fuck, are you serious? That's kind of fucked up. And I was like, right? I thought it was just me. And she's like, nah, that's kind of fucked up that he would tell you that. Like, in other words, like, be grateful that I'm even fucking taking you. I don't even want to take you here, And then she said, like, instead of saying, like, you're my son, I love you, I'm here for you, I'm going to help you out. Nah, he was like, well, I got to help you. You're my son, fuck, So I was like, God damn, man. So I kind of felt that vibe, and I was kind of like on the fence about it. Like, is this fucked up or am I tripping? But that was like the tone that was set. You know what I mean? So yes, they helped me out, but let's not give them too much props. And anyway, so I'm getting ready and stuff, and I'm getting to bond with my brother and my sister before I leave and shit. And it was pretty cool with them and stuff. And it's really awkward with my parents. So I take off and stuff. And I remember the morning of, I had to. We were basically gonna leave like in a caravan, right? Everybody was gonna follow everybody, and we are gonna meet up in I think it was Vinton. If you're from here, that's like far west side. That's like getting out of fucking the west side, Canutillo, passing a little bit, and Vinton's like right there. It's way before Las Cruces, but outside of the city. And if you're not from here, then fuck it, man. You don't you don't need to know. Yeah. So that, and I had to meet up like really early. We had to meet up really early, and we live in the lower valley, so it was quite a drive. So I remember that morning I had to get up really early and shit, and just head out, and it was weird because this tone was set at home. You know what I mean? In my parents' house, like, oh, pues te tengo que ayudar, güey, a huevo. But then the morning of, I'm like, okay, cool, all right, I'm leaving or whatever. And all of a sudden, like, my mom got all teary-eyed and shit, and my dad got all quiet and sad. And I'm like, hey, make up your fucking mind, guys. Like, do you guys love me or not? You know what I mean? It was weird. And I was very like, all right, bye. Like, okay, cool, whatever. And I remember thinking, like, as I was pulling out of the driveway, like, all right, man, this is yet another step in becoming a man, becoming a fucking adult, And I remember driving away and just seeing them, and they looked bummed out. They looked like, damn, man, like, fuck, whatever, whatever it is they were thinking. I don't know what they were thinking, but they looked a little bummed out. And I was like, I can't let feelings get involved right now, man. You need to go on with your life. And looking back on it now, it's like, how did I do that? Like, how was I able just to detach feelings from such a big thing ahead of me that I didn't even know what was going to be ahead of me? You know what I mean? But I think all these experiences add up to like who I am today. Cause, my wife tells me that I'm very cold. or I could be very cold, and I just tell her like I don't know, I don't do it on purpose, but I think experiences like that have something to do with it, because um, I just I don't know, I can't explain it really. It's just one of those things where like, what am I gonna do? Pull over, start crying, you know, or be like, no, no, never mind, I don't want to anymore, you know, and then what? Like live at home with my parents the way it was? I was like, nah, man, fuck that. So I don't know. It's just, you know, the way life has steered me, you know. But it was really weird. It was really weird because I remember thinking I should feel, or this situation shouldn't be like that. In other words, you know, I know when I drop off, when the time comes and I drop off my kids to college, it's gonna be completely different. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be crying like a little bitch, and you know, me and my kids' relationship is gonna be the shit. You know, and it's gonna be nothing like it was for me. And but yeah, I remember having it in my head like it's not supposed to be like this. This isn't normal. You know what I mean? I'm supposed to be hugging my mom and hugging my dad and telling them bye and I'll call you when I get there and shit like that, you know? And but whatever, you know, it was what it was. So I meet up over there, you know, at the, I think it was a truck stop in Benton. And I get there and I see um one of my, what was he? I guess like a classmate. No, I don't really have. It was a friend from high school, and we had just graduated. And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" He's like, "Dude, I'm gonna go." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm going." I'm like, "Oh shit, that's fucking cool." So that right there gave me a bunch of relief because I thought I was gonna go on the trip by myself, or not by myself, but like, you like meet new people. You know what I mean? And my wife was gonna go. By the way, my wife was going also, but she was going for the medical side, and she left on a different day. So we you know, I was gonna meet her later on when we got over there and stuff. But yeah, I got to link up with this friend over here, and I was like, oh shit, that's cool. And he was like, hey man, can I ride with you? Because his parents were going with him on the caravan. And he's like, hey, is it cool if I ride with you? I was like, fuck yeah, man. So, you know, we took the road trip together and shit. It was cool, man. It was fun. We got to know each other and stuff. And, you know, when we get there, I remember the recruiter was like, all right, you know, we're here, whatever. And same recruiter from, you know, that I met in high school and stuff. And they were having like an orientation or whatever at the school, and like, okay, cool. He walked us in and like, oh, right here, this and that, blah blah. Brought the new students in. All right, cool. And he walked us in, and I never heard from him again. Never heard from him again. So basically, the orientation was just like, okay, here's the key to your apartment. These are your classes. Blah blah blah. Okay, cool. All right. And then that was it. And we were like, hey, well, where's this guy at? You know, the recruiter. And like, I don't know, where is he? And then we were calling him, and the fucker wouldn't answer. Fucking piece of shit motherfucker. He wouldn't answer. And we're like, are you fucking serious, man? Like, he said that they had a program for like finding us jobs, and he was gonna take us to our apartment, and he was gonna do all this shit. He fucking painted the perfect fucking picture, man. And this motherfucker left. So I was like, okay, so what the fuck, man? Like, oh, I don't know. So we go up to the office or whatever. We're like, yeah, we're looking to, you know, get a job or whatever. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. She takes out this fucking, you know, stack of papers, right? Probably like 2 inches thick. And she just like throws it on the counter. She's like, here you go. And I'm like, what's this? And she said, well, those are the phone numbers to the businesses in the area. And you look at it, it's like McDonald's and, you know, Walmart and, you know, whatever the fuck, you know, fucking shopping plazas and shit like that. And I'm like, okay. And then, but no, but he said that you guys would help us find a job. And she's like, yeah, here are the numbers. You call and see who's hiring. And I was like, and I remember looking at my friend, and we're like, what the fuck? Are you serious? And I was like, oh man, this isn't good. So from the fucking gate, guys, from the fucking get go, the experience was doomed. You know what I mean? It was fucking doomed, man. And it was quite an experience, man. Um, I met what I think I had fucking probably two apartments, three apartments. I don't remember. Oh, let's just say two. No le ponemos mucha crema a los tacos, and we'll say two, two different apartments. The first one, it was just me and this other guy, but this other guy didn't get there till later, and turned out he was from Sanelli, and I was like, what are the fucking odds, man? And he was really cool as shit, man. Shout out to Victor, and we got to know each other here there, and then he got along with my friend that we, the guy from high school, Roger. So we all got along really, really good, man. And I think that our relationship, like, it helped us to go through our day. You know what I mean? Because we all related. We all, we just got along really good. We were broke as shit, guys. We were broke as fuck, man. Sometimes I would make money by, like, I was Uber before Uber. You know what I mean? I would give people rides, back home from school or to the store. They needed to go grocery shopping or something like that. And, I would tell them, hey, man, well, can you give me some? I'll take you. Just give me some money, for gas money and shit. And they would give me money and shit like that. Very bare bones, man. Very frustrating time. But all we had was, ourselves, our sense of humor, and a lot, a lot of ramen noodles, like a lot. And it was interesting, man. And then that's where, me and my wife ended up, getting tighter, getting really close, and ended up going out, so that was pretty cool. So a lot of shitty things happened, but a lot of good things happened out there too. And it was quite an experience, man. It was very frustrating most of the times. Needless to say, that school doesn't exist anymore. Um, and fuck, man, it was. If you guys have heard, the Therapy album, the last song on the album, I think it's called "Give Up." The last verse on there, I talk about an experience I had out there. So basically, I think out there in Phoenix, I probably had, let me see. Fuck, man, I had maybe like 3 jobs out there, and they all sucked, man. I worked at Mervin's, I worked at McDonald's, and I worked at Baskin Robbins. Did I work anywhere else? No, I don't think I worked anywhere else. And Mervin's was the first one, and it took a long time. I don't remember how long, but it took a long time to get that job. And I remember specifically saying in the interview, I need money. I need hours. I need hours. I need hours. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. Especially you students. We know how much you guys, need the hours and stuff. So we'll definitely keep that in mind. I'm like, all right, cool, dude. I would work like 2 days out of the week, maybe 3 if I was lucky. And I remember going up to the managers and saying, like, hey, I need hours, I need time. Oh yeah, man, just ask anybody if they would like to give up their shift, and you could take theirs. Excuse me. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, no. But in the interview, they said that they would, give hours here. Oh no, it's because right now there's no hours and this and that. And I was like, man. And yeah, it was irresponsible of me and shit. But that was the reason why I just quit that job, because I was like, man, I could make more money giving people rides, or be just as broke, más bien. And I was like, man, this shit's fucking whack, man. So I ended up quitting, and then I honestly, I can't tell you how much time passed, but after that, some time passed, and then me and my friend from high school, we started working at McDonald's, and this friend lived in a separate apartment. Shit, I think it was in a separate. No, I think by that time, because when we started living out there, I had an apartment with Victor, the guy from Sanelli, right? And my friend got an apartment with with some other students. But I want to say when we started working at McDonald's, we had linked up and we had asked the school like, hey, can we get an apartment together? All three of us, and we ended up doing that. Ended up getting another roommate, so it was four of us in an apartment. But anyways, so we started working at McDonald's, right? Well, I was gonna work first. I had my first day first, and then my roommate, my friend, he was gonna have his first day the next day. So again, referring back to this song, if you guys haven't heard it, I detailed the experience there. But basically, we got held up, and it was weird. I remember feeling like it was like an out of body experience. I don't remember it feeling real. But basically, two guys broke in, they robbed, the safe or whatever. They took us down to the basement. They lined us up, and then he just started going one by one, just aiming the gun at our faces. And I was like, "What the fuck, man?" And the only thing I remember thinking was like, "Man, are you fucking serious? I'm gonna die outside of my city and in debt. Ain't this a bitch?" And I don't even mean like that. That's a real thought that I have. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like I remember thinking that thought, that and fuck this guy when he was like, empty out your pockets, you know, cell phones, wallets, everything. And I think I had my wallet, yeah, and I had my phone in my pocket, and I was like, fuck no, I'm not gonna do that. Like I have nothing out here, dude. You're telling me to put the little that I do have? No, fuck that. I'd rather him yank it out of my pocket and put it down on the floor. It's stupid, very stupid. But it's just, I was very frustrated out there. Even though I had my roommates, I had my wife out there. Um, it was a very lonely feeling out there. So for someone just to come in and just violate like that, I was like, man, fuck that shit. Stupid again, very stupid. Um, but yeah, man, it just so they ended up stealing the money from the safe or whatever, um, and they just end up running away. I go more into detail in the song, but basically that's what it is. And I remember thinking, man, like fuck, we still had to wait for the cops. I was starving because I didn't have any fucking money to eat, and I had homework. I didn't get out there till super late. We had to wait for the fucking cops. They had to fucking basically like dust the place for fingerprints and shit. And I was just out there. I remember one of the coworkers, because it was me, two other coworkers, and the manager. And I remember one of the coworkers, this lady, she was super nice. Everybody was really nice except the stupid ass manager. This pinche tonto. And I remember one of the coworkers, a super nice lady. She's like, while we were waiting, I was like, oh my god. I remember I was like nodding my head because I was falling asleep and shit. I was tired. She goes and she got us some apple pies and shit. She's like, here you go, guys. Because I know everybody's hungry and stuff, so maybe this will hold us through. And I'm like, oh shit, fuck yeah, I scarfed that shit down. And yeah, man, we were there for a long ass time. And then I remember the cops. They were like, well, all right, we're finishing up here. Did you guys want to clean up, or did you want to have the morning crew clean up? Like whatever you guys want to do, but we're done here. And the fucking piece of shit manager was like, "Oh, they could clean up right now." And I remember looking like, I don't want to clean up this shit because we were cleaning up, right? And we had like the mop buckets and shit like that. Um, I was cleaning dishes and everything, and they just made a mess. They kicked everything over the buckets, so there was soapy water everywhere, dishes everywhere, and this motherfucker wanted us to clean, and I was like, man, what the fuck? Luckily, I think this lady and someone else was like, you know what? Um, let them go. We'll go ahead and clean up. We'll leave it decent. let the morning crew know that, they're gonna have to clean up a little bit, what happened or whatever. But their students, they need to leave. So luckily, I was like, oh, thank God. I do not remember what time it was. I just remember it was really late. And so I get to my apartment and shit. My roommates are still up. And they're like, man, we were worried about you, man. What happened? And I was like, man, I felt like Biggie. I was like, man, do I have a story for you? And I told them what happened and everything. And they're like, what the fuck, man? And so we're going to bed or whatever. And my room, no, not my, well, one of my roommates, right? My friend, which we shared a room with, because it was a 2-bedroom apartment. So it was like, 2 guys or whatever. I remember the friend that I went to high school with, right? We were sharing the room. He comes up to me, right? We're going to bed and everything. He's like, hey man, so you gonna stay working at that place or what? And I told him, man, you know what? I don't know, man. Right now I'm thinking no, but I think I need to sleep, and I think I'll make my mind up tomorrow. He's like, okay, cool. I didn't think nothing of it. He didn't make a big deal about it, right? And then the next morning, we wake up or whatever, and he's like, so what, man? You gonna go back or what? And I was like, you know what, man? Fuck this job. It's not worth it. I was like, I think I'm just gonna go, turn in my uniform. And his first day was that day, right? And he looked at me and he's like, oh man, good man, because I was thinking the same thing. We started laughing. We're like, yeah, man, fuck this fucking job. So and then he told me too, he's like, dude, I had a dream that basically everything you went through, I went through. Like, in other words, he was like in my place. And the guys were wearing clown masks, and he fucking hates clowns. And he's like, dude, fucking nightmare, man. I fucking hated that fucking dream and this and that. And I was like, oh man. So he was super relieved when I was like, nah, I'm just gonna go turn in my uniform. And yeah, we walked in. I think it was after school or before school. I remember, because we went to school in the afternoon. And when we showed up, we showed up with our uniforms in our hands. And the manager comes up. He's like, oh man, for real? Oh man. And he stays quiet. He's like, I get it though. I get it. And we're like, here you go, man. We just came to drop this in and whatever. And he's like, all right, man, I get it. Well, sorry for that experience, man, but it's understandable. And come to find out, that wasn't the first time that fucking McDonald's had been robbed. I think it was the third time that fucking year. That year. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, hell no, man. You mean this is the third time? There have been 2 previous times they've had installed no extra cameras. They hadn't done anything at all, man. No extra precautions, nothing. And I was like, nah, man, fuck this shit. And the lady that was there that night working with me, she had been in one of the robberies before, and one of the other coworkers had been in another robbery. So I was like, this isn't their first fucking rodeo. They don't give a fuck about us, man. Fuck this fucking job. So yeah, needless to say, I was like, man, fuck this fucking job. And then some time went on. And me and my wife's relationship got really tight because, while we were going through, what we were going through, financially, and, learning from the school, and, finding out there was a fucking piece of shit school. She was going through her own thing too, learning and being like, wait a minute, they didn't tell me this, and they didn't tell me I had to do this and go through that, and, all this stuff. And she really wasn't liking it either. She did live near a mall, so it was really, she got lucky, and she had a job, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, me and her's relationship got really tight because, I would take her to get groceries and stuff like that, and we really got to, know each other even more. I mean, you're talking about, like, we were best friends here in high school. our fucking relationship just got even tighter when we were out there. It's fucking crazy. Hold on, I need parched. And yeah, man, it was really hectic out there. It was fucking crazy. Really, really stressful, especially for kids. Um, and fuck, what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so some time went by and I got a job at Baskin Robbins, and that was interesting too, cause the owners were Asian. They were really loud. And I don't mean to like stereotype them either. They're just really loud, and I ended up being a translator. You know what I mean? Because just the way they would ask people shit is like, hey, you don't have to fucking yell at them, because they would say like, they would be serving people, and they would say like, you want almonds, almonds, you want almonds, and they, like the people would, the customer would turn around and look at me like, what the fuck are they saying? And I'm like, almonds if you want almonds. Like nuts, like almonds. And they're like, okay. Like I went through a lot of those situations. But the to add on to that shit was the Spanish speaking customers, you know? So they would go in and be like, you want almonds, you want nuts, you want this, you want that, you want chocolate, you want M&Ms, you want this, you want, and they would turn around and look at me like, what the fuck are they saying? No, que si quiere chocolate, or no quiere almendras con la nieve, or no quiere this, that, whatever. Oh, okay, no, así está bien. And I would tell them, no, that's fine. Oh, okay. And I was like, God damn, man. So they're very rude. I remember when they hired me, the manager, owner, whatever, he said that they weren't looking to hire because, well, no. Let me backtrack. They were looking to hire, but they weren't looking to hire students from the school, because they had hired some students, and they were bad employees, and they ended up just not showing up for work, and that's why they fired them. So they asked me, they're like, you're a student? And I'm like, yeah, I go, to school or whatever. They're like, oh no, we don't want, students. And I was like, oh, okay. But whatever, we went through the interview anyways, and they're like, the guy was basically like, you know what, I'll give you a chance, but I wasn't looking to hire a student again because of the bad experience. And I was like, all right, well, fuck it, let's see. I'm no desmadroso. And yeah, and basically with them, I didn't last that long either, because they didn't give me no fucking. I only worked like 1 or 2 days out of the week. And I know what you guys are saying, or some of you guys is like, well, why didn't you get another job, and then maybe you could, be working 5 days out of the week there, Rob. Nobody was fucking hiring, okay? Nobody. By the time we got there, all slots were filled in already. Like, not even Walmart was fucking hiring. I remember this one girl in school was all happy because Target hired her. You know what I mean? But it's something that as a kid you never think about. You show up, and the whole area is basically employing all these students. So we were shit out of luck. It's, plain and simple. And but we made through with what we had. Coming into, what was it? I want to say for Thanksgiving we came back home. Well, my wife and her family was gracious enough to have me for Thanksgiving, and we spent Thanksgiving here, and then we went back, and we were homesick as it was, but we got super homesick. And when we went back, I think like all the negative shit started, standing out more. And we're like, yeah, man, fuck this and fuck that, and this and this and this. We were just making excuses. Like, I'm thinking at that point of like why we should be coming back home. And yeah, man, like we ended up. I think the straw that broke the camel's back for me was the whole job thing. How I couldn't find a fucking job, a full-time job, and just the school being shitty, you know. I mean, the McDonald's experience didn't help, but like the school was so like blah, you know, and like even the teachers too, they were just like every day was the first day of school, you know. You know how like the teachers are like laid back and stuff. That's how it was. And it's like, when are we gonna learn? When are we gonna learn? And my classmate, one of my classmates was my roommate from the guy from Sanelli, Victor. He was actually in the same, going for the same thing as me. You know, Roger was going for something else, so we didn't have him for. He was in our classmate, but I remember asking Victor like, "Hey man, when the fuck are we gonna learn something? Like, when are they gonna teach us?" And he's like, "I don't know, man. I don't know." And if I'm not mistaken, he was on the same boat as me. Like, he didn't know much. He just wanted to do better for himself. And I remember, like, I have nothing. I knew of Monty Python, but I wasn't really familiar with them. But this fucking school made me hate Monty Python because they would show that to us every day. And the type of classmates that I had, they were very like, ha ha ha, I know this and you don't. You know what I mean? Like, we would ask for help on assignments and stuff, and they would look at us like, you don't know this? This is like basic. Like, this is like kinder shit. And I was like, okay. So they were very like, they're just assholes, really. They were I don't want to say nerds, but I don't know what else to call them. They were nerdy assholes. And I feel comfortable calling them assholes because that's what they were when we approached them and asked for help, you know? And, but yeah, so basically they were like, okay, you guys are going to get your books soon. You guys are going to get this soon. Eventually we're going to do this. We're going to do that. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for today. Just going to play some of this stuff. And they would play on the projector. He would just hook it up to like YouTube or some shit. Or I don't know what it was. And he would just play Monty Python every fucking time. And I'm like, man, fuck this shit. And all the other classmates were like super fans of this shit. So that made me not like it even more. And I was like, man, what the fuck, man? Fuck this fucking show. And am I paying for this shit? You know what I mean? And I was like, man, fuck this fucking school, man. They don't give a fuck about us. And, my roommates felt the same way, but I don't blame them. They were like, nah, man, like, we got to finish this shit. And I was like, I agree. But I've been pondering about this shit, and it's not for me, man. Nah, I don't think I can finish this shit. I don't feel like I'm gonna get anywhere. I'm not learning anything. I'm not making any money out here. I'm just getting more and more into debt. I don't think I ever paid the rent while I was out there. Because I had no fucking money. I didn't have money like that to pay for the rent. I didn't have. It was just really frustrating, man. And so yeah, I was like, you know what? And my wife was on the same boat as me. She was just like, let's just fucking go back home. And I was like, I don't have a home to go back to. And then she said, let me see. Maybe I could talk to my mom and my grandma. And maybe you could stay with us while you get a spot. And so once I got that situated, I was like, all right, fuck it, let's go back. And I told my roommates, I was like, you know what? We're going to go back. And they're like, damn. Oh, because we ended up coming back for Christmas. And that was it. That was the nail in the coffin, We got homesick even more again. And we're like, hey, we miss home. We miss the mountains. And we're like, yeah, man, fuck it. Let's do this. And I was like, yeah. And I went up to the school, and I remember saying like, I want to drop out. What do I have to do? And they're like, well, it's gonna affect your what? I think my credit or something like that. And I remember telling her, I'm not learning anything. We're just watching fucking Monty Python and giving these little speeches, but I haven't gotten any books. We haven't gotten anything. And she's like, well, do you want to talk to a counselor? I was like, no, because I've already tried doing that, and they never got back to me. I was like, so I just want to drop out. Okay, well, it's up to you. And I signed some papers. I'm like, all right, this is just so you're aware that this and this and this. Are you sure you don't want to? Like, nah, bitch, I'm out. It wasn't something like that we were just. I was just like shooting off at the hip. Some spontaneous decision that I took. I really thought about it, and it hurt. It hurt because I felt like a failure. I felt like you know, I didn't complete something. But at the same time, the situation, the you know, the environment and everything, I was just like, this isn't good, man. This is going nowhere for me. You know what I mean? Luckily, I think my roommates, I think they ended up graduating, but later on, but it just wasn't for me, and everything just added up negatively. And so the we ended up coming back home, and that even the fucking drive back home, man, it was something else, man. Let me tell you. So I had a car, right? I was the only one that had a car, and I would drive everybody around, right? Like I said, I had a '86 Ford Tempo. That shit is old now. That shit was old back then. And it was standard, right? It was stick, and man, that shit got us around over there. I was surprised it got over there, let alone coming back, right? So we're coming back, and me and my wife were like, all right, so how are we gonna do this? Ya dio de baja la escuela ya ella, so did I over here. So we're like, okay, this day, let's go. All right. So then we ended up deciding on, and I was gonna drive, by the way. She wasn't gonna drive. It was just me. We were gonna leave during the night so we could get back home, like, during the day, whatever, in the morning. I don't remember. And so that's what we did, right? So me despedí de mis roommates, and I had a bench, like a bench press or whatever, and that's like one of the few things that I had of value over there. So I ended up, breaking it down, packing it up in my car, whatever. This is a fucking Ford Tempo. This is a 4-door car, okay? Basic ass car. I ended up breaking down the bench, fitting that shit in, barely fucking fit in my car. And then I go later on that night to go pick up my wife, and she puts her stuff in there. She didn't have a lot either, but we're talking about all of our belongings, right? The fucking bench was taking up a lot of space. While we're like fitting our shit in there, we're like, not everything's gonna fit. And I was like, fuck. So we gotta get rid of shit. And I told my wife, I was like, fuck it, I'll just leave the fucking bench here. And I remember throwing all the pieces in the dumpster. I'm like, okay, now do we have space? And she's like, yeah, now we have space. I was like, yeah, fuck it, man. Fuck that bench. It's just taking up space. And yeah, man, we packed up the Tempo, the trunk and the back seat. And we were, both of us were sitting upright. Like, we had to push the seats all the way to the front so all our shit could fit. And then the seat was like all the way straight. So I was like basically on the fucking steering wheel driving. And so yeah, man, we fucking took off during the night. I had never, had I? No. At that point, I had never, ever, what's the word? Driven during the night, right? So I was like, all right. I tried to like take a nap during the day and shit. Didn't really work out, but I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm not sleepy, so let's go. Let's take off. So we took off or whatever, heading back home. And everything was okay until, I want to say, shit, man. I want to say like not even halfway home, right? Not even halfway home, I'm like dying of sleep. I'm like, oh fuck, man. No, I'm probably like halfway. I don't remember. Let's just say halfway, just for fucking shits and giggles. So halfway home, I'm like, oh fuck, man. I need to sleep, right? And I need to sleep. And I was like, fuck, okay. No, I think I could do it. And my wife was asleep. And she'd say like she would, be awake, and she would, and then she would fall asleep, and then she would wake up, she'd fall asleep, and then she would say like, "Wake me up, you know, if you want me to stay up with you." Like, okay. And I felt bad at first, but then it was a long ass drive, and I'll tell her, "Hey, can you stay up with me? Because I feel like I'm falling asleep." And she's like, "Yeah, yeah, sure." So we play music and stuff like that. She tried to keep me awake, and then um, I remember there was this one point where I was like, "I can't no more. I can't. I need to sleep." And I was like, well, before that thought, right? I was like, we were driving, she was asleep, and we passed the fucking truck stop or a rest stop or whatever, and I was like, oh shit, and I was like, nah, I'm still good, I'm still good, and then shortly after, I was like, nah, I need to pull over, I need to fall, I need to sleep, at least just take a short nap, and I was like, next stop. Dude, the fucking next stop wasn't for fucking ever, man. The whole time the fucking sun is down, okay? This is during the night. The next stop didn't come up till like, I don't know how long, man. It seemed like forever. And I was like, oh God, I'm going to fall asleep. And it took forever to get there. And I regretted that so much. I was like, I should have just pulled over. And then, because I was just lying to myself, I could have slept. And so finally the fucking rest stop comes up, the truck stop comes up, and I was like, fuck this, man. And I pulled over, found the parking space or whatever. My wife was knocked out, and I set my alarm on my phone for like I don't know, like an hour or something like that. I don't remember. 30 minutes, something like that. And mind you, it's a fucking stick shift car, right? Standard. And the fucking seats are like reclined almost all the way forward, right? My wife has a little bit more leeway of like reclined a little bit more back, but I'm like fucking straight, right? And I just like, I leaned on her lap, and I just like fucking passed out, and it was super uncomfortable, but I was so fucking sleepy. I was like, man, fuck this. So um I fell asleep. I don't know if I heard the phone ring or she woke me up. I don't remember. But I remember waking up and the fucking sun was out. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? No, I think the phone did ring. I don't fucking remember. Pa que miento? Pa que miento? No sé. So yeah, so I was like, oh shit, okay, well, let's get going now. So we get going, right? And I want to say this is probably a little bit more than halfway, right? We still got a ways to go, right? And so we start driving, we start moving or whatever. And then once, we get on the highway and shit, I notice that my brakes aren't getting that good. And I'm like, huh, interesting. While we're in traffic though, and I was like, maybe I fucked up. Maybe it was me. Maybe it was me. But then I had to like significantly slow down, and I was like, what the fuck, man? And I turn around and I look at my wife, and she's like, what? And I was like, I think my brakes aren't working anymore. And she's like, what? And I was like, I don't think my brakes are working. And we're on the fucking highway. We're hauling out. I mean, it's the temple, it wasn't known to be a fucking speed racer, but we're in the highway. And I remember like shitting brakes because I was like, what the fuck do I do now? Like eventually I'm gonna have to pull over to put gas. How the fuck am I gonna do this? And but they would slightly get still. You know what I mean? So I remember just like fuck it. And at that point it was like I went into just like survival mode. Because before that, before we left, I was thinking more like long term, like, okay, we're gonna get back home, and then what? What am I gonna do? Where am I gonna live? I'm gonna have to find a job. I'm gonna have to find a place. Like I was thinking all these things to plan ahead and shit. What's my mindset gonna be when I get here? But at that point, I was like, I just want to get there. Fuck everything else. I just want to get there. So I went into just survival mode, just like, let me get, how they say from A to B, let me get to B, and I'll figure shit out, there. So that's where my mindset was at. So my brakes were giving out little by little. You know, I could feel it, but also the car would slow down. And finally, the time came. I had to put gas. I went to go put gas and shit. And I remember getting off the exit and pressing on the gas. I mean, pressing on the brakes. And I'm like stomping on them. And the brakes are barely getting. And enough just to make the, the stop and shit like that. And then, drive into the gas station. And I remember just like fucking Flintstone shit, I'm just putting both feet on the brake, and it's just like slowly, and it stopped, and I was like, whew. And you know what? I take that back. That's when I told my wife that my brakes were fucking up, because I didn't want her to worry about it. And she was asleep when I stopped to put gas, so I got down, put gas, and I was super nervous at that point, because I was like, okay, it's only getting worse, right? They're giving out more and more. Hold on, I'm parched. All right. And, excuse me. And so, yeah, I remember I didn't want to have her worry or whatever. So, before we left, I told her, I was like, my brakes are fucking up. They're giving out. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, I had to like really stomp on them just to get in here. And she's like, what are we going to do? Are we going to be able to get home? I was like, well, we're going to be able to get home. I just don't know if we're going to be able to stop. So we take off. I remember taking off and, getting the light to get back on the highway and shit. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like the stop right before getting onto the highway. Like, I don't know how my brakes stopped. You know what I mean? And I looked at her. I was like, we're getting there. I'm already planning, like, okay, your mom lives here. Let me go through this street and this street, and then maybe we can slow down a bit. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to like figure it out. But I was like, we're gonna get there. And even the car, I was like, what's to be with my car? I don't fucking know, man. Like, I'm broke. How am I going to get it fixed? But whatever, At that point, like I said, survival mode. So we take off and stuff, and we're driving. Luckily, we didn't have to like slow down or stop really till we got here. But I would test it out here and there, and yeah, man, the fucking brakes were not getting at all. And I was like, fuck, man. So finally we get closer to home. So I start thinking like, okay, what am I going to do? And one of the things I kind of figured out, and I know it's very like, duh, Robert, but I'm telling you, me as a kid, I'm trying to figure this shit out, right? Is downshifting to slow down. So I was like, okay. When we get closer to the house, I'll just downshift. I'll downshift. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And luckily, my wife's mom lives close to the highway too, so there's not a lot of driving after you get off the highway. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get off this street, go here, whatever. And yeah, that shit fucking saved my life, because I was practicing, on the way over there too. Like, yeah, I'll downshift and it'll slow us down or whatever. So at least I had that plan. So yeah, we get into the city limits, and we're happy. And we get close to my suegra's house, and yeah, it worked. We got off at the exit. I started downshifting a little, took a little bit of some back streets and stuff like that. And I remember, man, like the relief on both of our faces, man. Like, once we got there, we parked in front of my suegra's house. Dude, I was so uncomfortable, man. I think the drive, what's the Phoenix drive from? I think it's like 6 hours. Those are the most grueling 6 hours, man. We probably did like 7. Yeah, probably like 7. It was just so uncomfortable, man, because I was sitting up straight the whole fucking time, and it was just, it was horrible. My back was hurting, my legs were hurting, my butt was hurting. Cause I remember my wife would say like, "You don't want to stop, take a break," and I'm like, "No, I just want to get there. I just want to get there. I already wasted time by napping." And yeah, just I remember getting here, pulling up, downshifting or whatever, and just like letting the car. I think I just turned it off and just waited for it to stop on its own. We parked in front of her house, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this car because I felt stuck. But I remember so much relief that I remember just thinking, I just want to get out this fucking car and sleep. And that's exactly what I fucking did, man. My suegra greeted us and like, oh man, this and that, unpack right now. And I'm like, yeah, we'll do it right now. We'll do it right now. I just want to sleep right now. I just want to lay down. I want to stretch my back out. And yep, that's exactly what I did, man. I don't know how long I slept for, but the relief was just like, we're here. We did it. We're safe. I was I was hell bent on making sure we got there safe, you know, and we did it. We got there. Now, what happened afterwards, that I'll save that for another time. That's another fucking story. But thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys, consistently hearing me out. um, I'm just trying to see if you guys could get to know me a little bit better and shit like that. Like I've said plenty of times before, I really like doing this shit. It's fun for me. And if you guys have any topics or any questions or anything like that you guys want me to to mention or answer or speak about, leave them in the fucking comments, man, or fucking message me, or I don't know, whatever the fuck you do, just to let me know, man. I'm trying to like get everybody involved. Maybe we could do like a shirt giveaway or something like that. I could print out. Maybe if you leave okay, let's do this. Like if you're listening to this right now, right, and you want a Puras Pendejadas shirt. Let's say what do we say? Let's say you leave in the comments. Let's say ¿Quién dijo yo? Or let's say yo. Just put in the comments yo, and I'll get your name, put it, and then we'll raffle off a t-shirt. How about that? Let's try to make this shit a little bit fun and interact with each other. Let me know you're out there. Let me know you're listening. Let me know you want to interact and shit like that. But yeah, man, thanks a lot for tuning in. And you know how this shit goes. I will be dropping this shit whenever the fuck I want to. All right, later.